Speaking of soup, we got the evolutionary soup here. Of Japan approves groundbreaking experiment bringing human-animal hybrids to term.
Now, we're late on this, but we heard about it and it was interesting.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about it.
Yeah, about the cat girls.
Want to read?
They're definitely going to be making cat girls. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. I bet you the scientists who are coming up with this are like, you know what? We like that anime. We like the cowgirls so much. We're going to be working on it.
It's number one
I
priority.
think I said cowgirls there. Yeah, either one. I don't discriminate. Cat girls, cowgirls. Whichever one
that
they want.
image with the bird and the crow, and the one bird is talking about like, actually this can help genetic diseases, and then the crow is like, cat girls.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Can you put that in?
I'll try to find that one. I tried to find the other one the other day when I was doing the other video where it's like the weeb goes up to the other weeb and slaps him. This fucking weeb. I couldn't find it. I'll try to find that one though. It's a good one.
All right. Them sail. Oh, let's read this. Oh, you already read this part. Did you read this part?
Go ahead.
Japan approves groundbreaking experiment bringing human-animal hybrids to term.
And this is from ScienceAlert.com and written by
Carly Casella.
Yeah.
On July 30th, 2019.
I don't know why I didn't hear about this last year, but apparently this was a thing.
Well, you didn't hear about it until it became a bit of a meme.
Yeah, I guess so. It's true. It takes the meme world a while to get around to some things.
Or it takes us a while to get into the memes, because
I think this is when we started the show, was around this time last year.
We're late.
Yeah. We're going through all the regular folklore, now we ran out.
I can't believe it. There's nothing left. There's absolutely nothing left.
There's plenty.
No, it's
lazy.
all gone.
Yeah, you're right.
We've completely drenched
We've done
this world.
every single bit of morsel.
Well, what about, like, the tooth fairy? Shut up.
Yeah.
We did everything.
We don't cover that mainstream bull
what
crippin' up in here.
All right. Let me begin.
Okay.
Stem cell biologist Hiromitsu Nakaruchi has been waiting for this moment for more than a decade. After years of planning, the persistent researcher has at last received approval from the government, willing to pursue one of the most controversial scientific studies there is. Human-animal embryo experiments.
Oh my god.
I hope they succeed, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
While many countries around the world have restricted, defunded, and outright banned these ethical fraught practices, Japan has now officially lifted the lid on the proverbial Pandora's box. Earlier this year...
See, it's not a jar. It's a box.
Yeah, it's a box.
Freaking
someone else saying...
Yeah, it was the mayor.
Professor or whatever about...
Yeah, from Stanford.
Greek myth saying it's a...
Pandora's jar.
Pandora's jar. They really live in Pandora's jar.
It was like, I'm an expert.
I mean, hey. Maybe we're the ones that are wrong.
Hey, you know what? Maybe there was a jar inside the box.
Maybe it was like a cookie jar this whole time.
It could have been.
We're all just idiots. But Pandora's box sounds
That
better.
was the cookie jar song. That's where it originated.
Maybe it was more like a chest. Pandora's treasure chest.
Could have been.
That sounds
We've
more...
completely derailed from the story.
Anyway.
Earlier this year, the country has made it legal to not only transplant hybrid embryos into surrogate animals, but also to bring them to term. As a lead stem cell researcher at the University of Tokyo Stanford University, Nakauchi has gone from country to country, chasing his dream of one day growing customized human organs in animals like sheeps or piggies. Piggies. Continue, my friend.
With more than 116,000 patients on the transplant waiting list in the United States alone.
Jesus, that's a lot.
Nakauchi hopes his ideas can transform lives.
Into human-animal hybrids.
That's right. The ultimate goal is still a long ways off, but the next step in his research has last been given the green light by ministry officials in Japan. As the first researcher to receive government approval since 2014 ban, Nakauchi plans on taking things slowly so that public understanding and trust can catch up. We don't expect to create human organs immediately, but this allows to advance our research based upon the know-how we have gained up to this point, Nakauchi told the Asahi Shimbun.
I guess that's a newspaper.
The experiments will start by injecting human-induced, purely potent stem cells into rat and mice embryos. That's not
We're
gonna
gonna
work.
have mice people.
All of which have been genetically manipulated so that they cannot make pancreases.
For a second there, I thought it said pancakes.
So they cannot make pancakes.
Oh man,
We're not having a ratatouille incident up in this
they
joint.
can do everything else. They can't make pancakes.
Or Ratatouille.
The goal is for that rodent embryo to use human cells to build itself a pancreas. And for 2 years, the team plans on watching these rodents develop and grow, carefully monitoring their organs and brains in the process. Only then will the researchers ask for approval to do the same thing with piggies.
While human animal embryos have been created in the past, such as pig human embryos and sheep human embryos, they've never been allowed to develop to term before.
Yes.
One of the biggest fears with this type of research centers on exactly where these human stem cells actually go in an animal, and what type of cells they could develop into once they've been injected.
I can't wait.
While Nakuichi and his team are trying to target this treatment, Diablo is on the loose. You have to help me.
I'm trapped in a cage.
Where am I? Can
Who
you
am
get my
I?
pudding for me? It's on the top shelf. I can't reach.
You'll get it for me, won't you, Leah?
We shit it out.
To just the pancreas.
Just
If
the pancreas.
They detect more than 30% of the rodents' brains are human. They will suspend the experiment.
You don't want human rodents uprising against us.
These are part of the government's conditions to prevent a humanized animal from ever coming into existence.
No!
Oh, no!
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
My cat girl!
Cat girls!
You fool!
We weren't wanting the cat.
My rat girls! You monsters!
I was saying, we weren't hoping for
I
the cat
mean,
girls.
oh
We're just-
no. I mean, that's great.
We thought, these other people were saying they wanted it, and we thought it was funny. God dang it.
Yeah, I wasn't investing hundreds of dollars in the stock into
I
Rat
should
Girls.
have did research for us into my money.
Sure.
Dang it.
Continuing on.
Humanized. I want a humanized rat. I don't know about you. Actually, that sounds terrifying. Never mind.
I mean, anime styled, yes, it would be cool.
Yeah, anime
But,
style.
Real life, not so much.
You ever see that fake image? Or maybe it wasn't fake, but it was like a cow, dog, human.
No, but that sounds horrifying.
I think it was just like either if it was fake or if it was like some kind of dog thing that just didn't have any fur. But it looked like kind of a naked mole rat man dog and had a bunch of little like pups.
I seen a video years ago, and this is maybe going back, I don't know, 13, 14 years. It could have been fake.
Uh-huh.
But I seen a video, and it was of a horse baby. Basically it was implied that a guy had relations with a horse, and the horse had a baby and was crying like a human. It was really creepy.
Nakauchi, however, doesn't think that this is going to happen. Last year, he and his colleagues at Stanford successfully made the
Same
first...
place where Mayor worked,
Stanford's a great place, apparently.
I guess.
Stanford, go to Stanford. Get a degree, she
A
said.
giant advertisement.
Be like
for
your brother, she said. Successfully made the first human sheep embryo, and although it was destroyed after 28 days, rude, the hybrid contained no organs and very few human cells. Only about 1 in 10,000 or less.
So it was destroyed after 28 days, but what about 28 days later? Coming this summer.
We are trying to ensure that the human cells contribute only to the generation of certain organs. Nakauchi explained, the winter edition of Stanford's Medicines out there. Ba-da-ba-da. Big titles out there. With our new targeted organ generation,
we don't need to worry about human cells integrating where we do not want them. So there should be many fewer ethical concerns.
Amazing. But so like, I get what I think it is like there's two things why they wouldn't want to have them become too human. One, what we do to animals, like experiments and everything, people think it's kind of like unethical, but they're like, okay, whatever. Like you have to have like some kind of research going on.
Mm-hmm.
But if the animals were too human, then all of a sudden it would become into like human rights violations, right?
Right.
Like you couldn't start doing experiments on them at that point because they would be too human.
Yeah.
So they can't let them become quote unquote too human.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be able to do the experiments, or they're basically growing them as like organ farms, you know, making it like legal organ farms.
Yeah.
So they, you know, because I guess they have, like it was saying earlier on, like 100,000 people waiting, like on a wait list.
Right. I mean, people slaughter animals by the thousands, hundreds of thousands, and experiments, pigs and mice are usually like what they use on. But if you want to do like an experiment on like a chimpanzee, they're like fairly close to human, and it's a lot harder to do an experiment on a chimpanzee.
I could have
People
sworn
don't like that.
I seen years ago that a guy had a baboon heart,
Why?
like transplanted into him.
Did he?
Maybe it was from a movie. It could have been from a movie.
Probably. That'd be sick though. That'd be rad.
I think it was from a movie now that I'm thinking about it more. And like he was like wild. He had like a few animal parts within him.
Oh, that's cool.
But I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's coming back to me.
Just a freaking mandrill, man.
It's pretty amazing.
That's what that probably was called. It's probably called the mandrill.
Yeah. I could see
Part
that.
man, part monkey ape thing.
Part drill.
The mandrill.
His like leg is like a drill bit that spins.
Played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I would watch that. I'd watch that all day. I don't even care if it was like old or...
My heart is a baboon heart. I have a drill for a hand. I only want to kill.
So, what do you think about their goose? Like, if you were to have, like, any, like, human-animal hybrid, what would it be?
I'm thinking leopard people. Leopards are pretty athletic. I think I would be pretty strong.
That'd be pretty cool. The question is, like, let's say they made a perfect human-animal hybrid. They looked basically human. Maybe they had, like, fur or something like that.
Maybe they're real furry.
Would they have the same lifespan?
I don't think so.
Would they share
Well-
lives? Like, would it be like an equal shared lifespan of the two? Like, I know like humans is like, I think 70 right now.
With genetic modulations, I think,
So
they would live
like,
longer.
They live to like maybe 40. So I think like the big cats only live for like maybe like, I'm just
Yeah.
bringing this off the top of my head. Like I don't do
Yeah.
any like big cat research, right?
Some animals
But I
live
think
long,
they live to like
some
20, maybe 30 years. I can't imagine them living longer than
don't.
that.
If you transplanted the parts, yes, only like 20 years. If you grew the person with those parts, I think they might live longer.
Maybe like 50.
No, I'm thinking
That
like
that
a
would
full,
be their highest.
a full life, because they would grow up with human cells, which means it's not only more powerful, but it probably lasts longer. But that's only if they did it correctly, like
Yeah.
the mixing of the DNA.
I was just trying to think. I think that starfish are
Yeah.
immortal.
Pretty much.
So what about like if they wanted to be
If you
like
want to be immortal,
bring
become a starfish?
immortality into the human race?
I feel like the human part would ruin that, though. Like, too much organs and blood flow, and then, like, you would still age, so your skin would get all,
This
like,
also
wrinkly.
reminds me. I think I've seen the movie before where they combined a bunch of different like animals into the human body to try to make it like perfect,
Wow.
and it becomes like a monster.
Was that Split? No, not sorry, that's Split.
Splice.
Spliced, yeah.
That might be
Was
it.
that it?
I don't
It
know. I'll
wasn't
have to look
supposed
it
to
up.
be-
I'll put it in the video.
I know in Spliced it wasn't supposed to be a human. It was supposed to be a slug that has, like, organs that are human,
Right.
I think. So they can just, like, exactly what they're doing here, so they can make organ sacs.
Right.
But I remember they in the movie spoilers for them spliced. It's not a huge spoiler, but in the movie they have like two of them, and they're gonna show like, oh, they're gonna mate, and we're gonna have a bunch of like human organ sacs that look like worms. But like because they were separated, the female turned into a male, and they both just like gored each other to death
Oh my god.
in front of all like the investors.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
Well, what are you thinking about next time there, Goose?
Next time, I'm thinking about, you know what? I'm inspired by an ad. U.S. cardiologist uses. It's like a pressure wash for your insides. It's a picture of like a banana and some like fruit nuts. I'm thinking world's largest vegetables.
I'm cool with that. I'm down for
And
that.
absurdly strange plant life and vegetation. Something like that.
Yeah, man. I've seen some pictures of some really huge, like, pumpkins before. I wonder if that's where, like, the James and the Giant Peach kind of story came from, when people seeing huge vegetables and they're like, hey, what if somebody made a house?
What if a peach was house-sized? Alright, now stay with me. And it was flying. And someone was inside it.
Just imagine, like, somebody getting high. It's like, hey, man, dude, let's go have a house the size of a peach, man.
Is there any real difference from
Not a house the
with
size
being
of a peach.
high
A
and
peach
being-
the size of a house. A house the size of a peach would be too small.
a house the size of a peach?
It's like, what is this, a house for ants?
Yes, actually. That's
Exactly.
correct.
It's exactly what it's for. But anyways, we'll be covering that on the next episode of Folklore Scrolls. Holla at you later.
So long, freaking weebs.